Hello, welcome to Midnight Musings, the show where we muse about midnight. I'm Bren.
I'm Jay.
And what are we musing about today?
Well, the recent PlayStation and Xbox announcements.
Yes, we've seen both now, haven't we?
Yeah, I say recent. PlayStation was a while ago, but being so the Xbox one has just happened...
Yeah, we figured we'd roll this all into one and have a chat about what we've seen and what we think about it. Yes. Totally unbiased opinion, of course. No, it genuinely is, because we both love both systems, don't we?
Yeah.
There's not a, you go where the games are, and I don't think either of us put more value in the company logo than the games that we enjoy playing, and that probably goes the same for all of you out there. But so let's start. Are we starting with PlayStation?
We'll start with PlayStation, being so that happened first.
Yes. Okay. So what's first on the list?
Well, we're just going to run through the games that were announced. We'll gloss over some and talk about others.
Yeah.
So
we've got more opinions on some than others. So.
But the one thing that gets me is the PlayStation event started with GTA 5. It's like, do we really need that on another console?
Of course we do.
Okay, all right.
Of course we do. We need it on everything. I don't even like the game, but it has to be on everything.
It does, yes. And I'm actually surprised that we haven't had Skyrim yet announced for PS5.
It'll come.
Oh yes.
Don't worry.
Yes,
don't you worry.
Bethesda are just like,
Yep.
we can do something without having to do something.
Yes. Let's release it again. So anyway, what's first on the list then?
So the first proper PS5 game we're going to get is Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yes. Now, a lot of people actually thought that this was just a DLC, didn't they? But then it's been cleared up that it's a full standalone title.
Yeah, it's a standalone. It's not going to be as big or as long as the Spider-Man game that released on PS4, but it's its own standalone game.
Yeah, kind of like Uncharted 4: The Lost Legacy.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like an expansion on the story,
but its own thing, and it's going to be. They've said that it's going to have a setting to be able to run at full 4K at 60 frames per second as well. So it's going to be a good-looking one as well.
Very nice. So the puddles are going to look exceptionally good.
Yes, they're actually going to have puddles in there. And because of the PlayStation 5's, is it the DualSense controller they're calling it?
Yeah.
When you apparently when you throw out your webs, you're going to be able to feel it through the controller.
Like
it's got that haptic sort of feedback
on the triggers.
Yeah. So it's going to feel pretty cool swinging through the streets.
That's one of those things that they've mentioned about the controller that's just super difficult to explain or describe. You've got to literally have it in your hands before you go, oh, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
when they say about you'll be able to feel blades of grass when you're walking through them on some games, and it's just like, how? What does that even mean?
What does it mean? Well, I can't wait to find out.
No.
But, so Spider-Man. Yeah, more Spider-Man. It can't be a bad thing.
No. Then they showed us a brief teaser of Gran Turismo 7. Obviously, that was a given. It's a new PlayStation. It needs a new Gran Turismo.
Cars, racing, hyper-realistic. Looks very good.
It's going to be good, let's be honest. It's going to look great.
If you like cars...
It's one for you.
It's one for you.
And then they moved on to probably the finest game, I think, on the new console, Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, now, a lot of people got annoyed. I'm briefly dipping into the recent Xbox show. But they showed a lot of games that were like cartoony in presentation, kind of like that kind of graphic style. But I feel the difference between the games that they showed on the Xbox as cartoon style and Ratchet and Clank specifically is it feels like Ratchet and Clank has nailed that next-gen look to a cartoon game. It's like, yes, the graphics are cartoony, but it looks like a Pixar movie.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It just looks like it's Pixar.
Yeah, it looks like you're literally getting to play a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
And just the level of quality and sheen on that game just looks impressive, but more impressive than that is how it uses the hardware.
Yeah, so it's going to use the full power of that SSD on the PS5 to render in basically entire new maps and levels instantly, because you can jump through rifts, so hence the name Rift Apart, and go to completely different worlds and areas, which is just apparently it's
within
seamless.
Seconds,
It's just seamless. You can just throw a rift, jump through it. You're in a complete city when you was in these old ruins and.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think sets apart Sony and Microsoft at this point in time is I feel that that with Ratchet and Clank specifically, that game has been designed with the new tech in mind. Yeah. And it's like, it's actually utilizing the hardware that the older console doesn't have. and the game has been designed based around that. If they had to consider the old hardware, they wouldn't be able to do the rift mechanic. Therefore, that entire game would not be able to be designed because they had to think about the older stuff.
Yeah, it just wouldn't work.
Which is kind of what I have a problem with most of the Xbox games. But we'll get to that in a bit.
We'll get to
that.
So yeah, Ratchet and Clank, it's looking great. I mean, it's going to be fun. And that whole
stunning.
rift thing. Let's see if we can break the PlayStation with throwing many rifts down or whatever.
Can you imagine that? I'm going to throw out 20 rifts one after another. See if you can break it.
Handle this. And then we got a brief look at what Square Enix are working on with their Project Athia.
Project Athia.
So they didn't really show much.
It was the one with the girl
CG,
running through.
Yeah, with demonic dogs and random flower tentacle monsters. I don't know.
Tentacle monsters.
Yeah. And then the platforming, and it looks very nice, and it's Squeenix.
It looks very. It almost looks like it's kind of like the Final Fantasy engine. But,
it looked like the bit where she's jumping over the various different.
It's like free
rocks.
running over the rocks.
Looks
isn't it?
like Final Fantasy 15. That's what I kind of got from that, like Noctis sprinting. That's what it looks like to me.
So maybe they've like kind of utilised parts of that and built a whole game around that. But yeah, it looks interesting. But there wasn't enough info in the trailer really to really formulate.
No, so it's
what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, let's just see what that turns into.
Yeah.
And then we had Pragmata.
Yeah, which was a Capcom game, which looked really nice.
Yeah, and it's obviously the artist or someone that was involved with Dead Space, because let's be honest, that's what the character looks like.
It definitely looks like that. The shape of the mass and the chunkiness of things, it reminded me very much of Dead Space.
Yeah, but again,
that was intentional or not.
Nothing on that. He's in a street with a girl and then he's on the moon. Make of that what you will.
Capcom are making it. I've got total faith that it's going to be pretty awesome. So looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Stray. The
I heard
game.
about this like
ages ago.
Years ago, and I swear, maybe I'm not thinking too straight about it. I swear we heard about Stray before the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were even released. I swear I saw something about it being a next-gen game, meant for Xbox One and PS4.
It was a long time ago that I heard something about playing as a cat in like an urban setting.
In a dystopian future kind of thing. And I swear I've seen it before, so I might be mistaken on the time frame, but it looks amazing. Like, get to play as a cat?
Yeah.
Why not?
The internet loves cats.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, that was all we saw. You just a cat in a city.
There's not really any kind of clue as to what you'd be doing gameplay wise.
No.
But the concept seems interesting anyway. It's definitely got me excited for it.
Oh yeah, I'm down for that.
Yep.
What else do we have here? We have Resident Evil Village. I just don't know what to make of that. I mean, if Capcom could just decide what Chris Redfield looks like to begin with.
He's kind of changed his look over like 3 times now, is it?
Yeah.
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 From the original to then like buff Chris, then to weird gaunt looking Chris in 7, and then now chunky old man, chunky old beefcake Chris.
Yeah.
It's like he's gone through many body changes, whereas Leon's like pretty much stayed the same throughout pretty much all the characters. Actually, Claire's changed quite a bit.
Yes.
Especially in Revelations. Like Revelations 2, she kind of had a face like a foot.
Yeah. They did very well. I don't know what's happening at Capcom lately with their character design, but
they did well for the remakes though. Kind of like the remake characters.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Village.
I don't know.
I think the fact that they aren't calling it Resident Evil. They're trying to make people refer to it as The Village instead of Resident Evil 8. And I'm just like, why are you doing that? You're trying to make your main franchise feel like a spin-off. Maybe they don't like the fact that they're doing, numbers 1, 2, 3. It's going to get silly. Like, you know how like the Friday the 13th movies get a bad rap because like Friday the 13th part 10 and it's like, oh really, there's that many of these? It kind of becomes a parody of itself. So maybe they don't want to get away from that and make something a bit more.
I mean, I think 7 and 8 should be their own standalone side thing anyway, but
they do feel very set apart from the rest of the series, but
definitely.
Then again, so do 5 and 6.
Yes, but
in a more action-orientated sense.
Yeah, they just had more characters that we could relate to, so you could get away with calling them 5 and 6. But
yeah, I think 8. Like, I mean, let's face it. I can't. What is his name? Something. Ethan
Winters.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, he's such a forgettable character, and I feel like you just don't. I never got enough connection with him in 7 to really care about where his story goes.
No.
In the next one, so learning to play that you'll get to play as Ethan again, I'm just like, so what, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't really bother me that much. But saying that, it is from Capcom, it is a Resident Evil game, and it does look very high quality.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks slick.
I'll treat it like I did 7. I like 7. I thought it was a great game.
Apart from the boat bit.
For what it apart from the bit on the boat. For what it is, it's a great game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's Resident Evil, but it was a good game to play.
Yeah.
And I'll probably treat Village exactly the same.
Yes, totally.
It'll be fine to play.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. And not at the same time, but yeah.
But that's a whole other video.
Yeah.
Then we had Returnal, which is an interesting name and an interesting idea for a game, a science fiction psychological horror game where the whole world resets when you die.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, how would that game mechanic play out? I mean, it could be like, you know, Dark Souls, when you rest at a bonfire, it all resets. It could be kind of like that kind of thing. I don't know. I was getting kind of vibes from it that it could be that kind of like a difficult game, or but I don't know. It looks story driven as well. I mean, the main character kind of reminded me of. Is it actually modelled after someone in real life?
I don't know. Most games are nowadays, to be honest.
It reminded me of what was the lady that played that knight in Game of Thrones, the really tall one.
Gwendolyn.
Yes.
Gwendolyn.
Yeah. Her face kind of reminded me of her.
Yeah.
But it looks interesting. Again, not much to go on though, is it?
It was just that story trailer, if you like, of dying and waking up on a ship, and so it'd be interesting to see how that pans out, what that looks like.
One thing they have focused on though, I think PlayStation are going sci-fi heavy, which is my favourite genre really. So I'm happy that there's lots of sci-fi games going on.
Yes. And a lot of interesting story-driven games by the looks of it too.
Yes.
Yay. Which leads us quite nicely on to Deathloop as well.
Oh yes.
So that was another one. So that's Arcane Studios and Bethesda. But that one has some sort of...
I'm sure it'll just work.
It will just work.
Anyway.
And we had Ghostwire Tokyo 2.
Yeah, which is not an exclusive, is it? It's a timed exclusive.
Yeah, it's a timed console. So it's coming out on PS5 and Windows, and it's apparently a timed exclusive on PlayStation. So whether Xbox will get it the year after release, or I don't know how it works now and what deals they've got.
Yeah, we often don't find out about how long this timed exclusive is until like after the game's out. Don't we, on the console, and then they go, oh yeah, you'll be able to get it on Xbox in like a year.
Yeah.
It's usually a year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's usually a year. But I mean, it's looking pretty cool. Shinji Mikami again, and it's looking. At the moment, I'd compare it to BioShock. That's the feeling I got from it.
Yeah, Japanese gameplay, but in a BioShock style setting, kind of. I don't know. It looks interesting. It looks distinctly Japanese, which is obviously you'd expect that from Shinji Mikami. So, It looks
good. It looks creepy enough as well.
And I like the fact that it's in Tokyo in like that kind of real world setting as well, which it's showing off the prowess of the new consoles and getting all that detail in there. So that's going to be really interesting to play. Although I have no idea the kind of like what the story is behind it. I don't know if any of that's leaked or anything. But
no, I haven't really looked into it. I've just remember the trailers that we've seen.
Trailer look cool.
Yeah, trailer look cool. That'll do.
Yeah.
But no, so that one's a good one. Looking excited for that one. And then we have the remake of Demon Souls, which just looks incredible.
It does. I mean, I saw some screenshots comparing like certain scenes and areas to what they've done with it. And I mean, I never really played the first Demon Souls on the PS3. I've got it, but I haven't actually stuck it in and played it. I just never got around to it. But I know it's a lot of people's like favorite game. Even they put it higher than the Dark Souls series. And I suppose that's one of the reasons why it's getting this nice remake. But the difference is, my God, it looks incredible. And I feel like I need to make sure I play Demon Souls on the PS3 before the new one comes out, so I can put myself through the punishment again to play the new one and really appreciate it. But, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it really does. That one's looking really, really good. And so Godfall as well. We had a bit more information on Godfall, and
that was the first PS5 title I ever heard about.
I think it was one of the first ones they announced, and it's basic. It still seems to me like Destiny with swords, but they've said that it will contain absolutely no microtransactions.
Oh, well, that's reassuring.
So...
Is it? I don't know.
But why is that still a punchline advertisement for a game?
They should just not be in there at all,
Yeah.
really, ever. I'm just so tired of microtransactions.
Yeah.
Because I don't care, like, just going off on a tangent briefly, but I don't care if they're cosmetic only or free or a choice or whatever, because at the end of the day the game's been designed to make them attractive and make playing the game a grind.
Yeah.
So whether you want to choose to buy them or use them or not, everyone's getting a raw deal because the game suffers overall.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should just go away. But if Godfall's got nothing in it, no microtransactions whatsoever, I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that you can just unlock everything with gameplay, but even then, Doom Eternal had no microtransactions. But I found the grindy, experienced meter that you got at the end of each level utterly pointless, and I didn't care about it whatsoever. It wasn't giving me anything useful.
No.
Like, or enjoyable or fun.
Skins to use in the multiplayer or different icons to use for your name and stuff.
It's just boring shit. Like, I'm not going to play through the game like 5 or 6 times to unlock a profile image. It's like, no, it's not going to happen. However, if it was a new gun or like some sort of ability that you could use in the campaign or something to strengthen your character or whatever, then yeah, it's worthwhile getting, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to the list.
They showed very quickly Hitman 3.
Yep, which is a multiplayer, isn't it? Or is it exclusive?
No, I should imagine it'd be a multi-platform,
Yeah.
The Hitmans are. And then Oddworld Soulstorm as well. A new Oddworld game. And it looks incredible.
It does look beautiful. Another cartoony styled game, but yeah, it's Oddworld, isn't it?
Yeah.
And those games, they're in a league of their own, and they're very unique feeling and have that unique style and atmosphere to them that's hopefully going to really shine on the PS5.
I hope so. It's got a very special place in my heart. Mm-hmm. And they close the show with Horizon Forbidden West.
Which, I mean, full admittance mode here. I never played the first Horizon Zero Dawn. I bought it on the day it came out, the collector's edition as well. And I played it for about an hour, and then I liked it, but then I must have got distracted by other things because I just put it down, and I just never went back to it and thought, yeah, I must get back to that one day. Recently I've been going through it again, and oh my god, that game is so stunning, and I'm so looking forward now to finishing that and the DLC, the Frozen Wilds, and then being able to go into the brand new one, which looks incredible.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, if the first one's anything to go by, this is just going to be bigger, crazier, like more beautiful to look at.
It's going to be amazing. Cause, I mean, I went back to play the Frozen Wilds because, again, I mean, I played the game when it first came out, platinumed it, loved it, and then bought the DLC when it came out, and then never actually played it. So I've had the DLC sat on my hard drive for 2 years.
Yeah.
I went back to it recently to start playing it, and oh my god, for a 3-year-old game, I can't believe how good it looks.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing it on the Pro as well.
Yeah, I'm playing it on the Pro, so obviously, yeah, I mean, it looks amazing on that anyway, but I'm also playing Ghost of Tsushima at the same time, and it's just like, I mean, yeah, okay, the Ghost of Tsushima's a newer game, obviously, there's different, it does look newer, but side by side, it's like I wouldn't say there was a 3-year difference between them games.
Yeah. People had said for sure that game kind of stands out on a plateau of its own.
It's incredible, and I cannot wait to get back into that world with them characters. And then I suppose quickly talk about, so there were some indie games there as well.
Let's breeze through these.
So there was that Goodbye Volcano High visual novel coming of age thing.
I mean, if you like visual novels, then great.
Yeah, it's not really my cup of tea. No. We had Bugsnax from the people that did Octodad, which was that weird bug.
I mean, I'd expect no less from the developers that did Octodad, but it just looked weird, and I'm not interested in that at all, if I'm honest. It looks like it might be funny for like a few seconds, but then it's like, that's
what else is on? Destruction All Stars, so Destruction Derby with hero characters, if you like.
Kind of like adding Overwatch to Rocket League. Swoosh. So it can't be bad. And it's developed in England as well, isn't it? In Liverpool, just up the road.
So
quite a ways up the road, but just up the road.
That'll be an interesting one. Could be quite fun. JETT: The Far Shore. again, I'm not really sure what that was. It looked like kind of like a No Man's Sky. Yeah.
Interesting though. I mean, very atmospheric, wasn't it? It was very, very atmospheric kind of game. So, I don't know. Could it hold up on its own? But like, they felt it was good enough to show in their showcase. So.
Yeah. We had Kena, Bridge of the Spirits.
That one interested me. Yeah. And I thought that was like a proper full AAA title, but I was actually quite shocked to learn it was a small 12-person team.
Yeah.
Indie team. So I'm really looking forward to playing that because the quality they seem to have gotten, it looks AAA.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It looks like a great game. It looks like a sort of Zelda game, if you like.
Yes, like Breath of the Wild, but on next gen.
Yeah.
So can't argue with that.
And then Little Devil Inside, which I think was that weird one with that person sitting on the toilet, and then it kept going between this old guy and this young guy.
It was like a platformer. Yeah, not a platformer. It was like a weird, like kind of 2D game, right? Yeah. I remember. It looks strange, but I don't know. A lot of indie games are really weird, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they've got to be weird to stand out, I suppose.
Yeah, but I remember the trailer made me smile a little bit with how it would go between the two people.
Yeah.
And then we got our first look at the console.
Yes. Now I mean, my reaction to that, because I was watching it, I did a live stream when I was watching it. My reaction to that was like, it looks like Batman. Like the silhouette of it, like got these pointed ears. Like I was expecting the Batman music to come on, and then we saw it, and I was like, initially I was kind of like, this thing looks like a bloody mess. But
Wi-Fi router.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't really care what the box looks like. I never have, if I'm honest. I just care what the games are that are on it. So that doesn't bother me. And the controller for the PlayStation 5 looks great. I think it looks nice. It looks, it looks bigger. It looks nicer to hold. And it's got all that new tech in it. So I'm going to be looking at the controller a hell of a lot more than the box that will be tucked somewhere over there when I find some space for it.
Because it's supposed to be pretty big as well.
It looks huge. I mean, did you see the size comparisons?
Yeah. Using the size of the
disk drive. Yeah,
yeah.
It's like it's going to be huge.
It's going to be a big piece of kit.
Yeah. So, but
if that worries you, wait 2 years for the PS5 Slim. Let's be honest. We all know it's happening.
It's going to happen.
So they're doing one with a disk drive and one without.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a natural thing. I mean, makes sense to have a choice. I mean, I definitely 100% will be getting the disc drive because two reasons, really. One, it's a Blu-ray player, and I have a lot of Blu-rays, and I don't intend to slow down on buying Blu-ray movies. Bit of a movie buff, so I like those, and I like physical media still. Games as well, buying them on disc is always going to be better value at the end of the day. And you've got more flexibility with it. I can buy a game and lend it to my friend, or I can buy a game, trade it in, and keep that pre-owned market going. Supporting your local game shops, I'm all for that, and I think that should be preserved. And I like the freedom and flexibility you get with physical media that you don't necessarily get with digital. Nope. It's a bit more faff if you want to, if you download something, and it takes ages if you've got bad internet, which I don't have great internet, and then two, if you really hate the game and want to give it back or sell it on, your options are very limited, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, unless you ask for a refund within the first hour of playing or something. Ridiculous.
You have to have a playtime under a certain amount or something before you can get a refund, which I suppose is fair enough.
Yeah.
But I think having the disc drive as well, you're not locked to one or the other. You can do both.
Yeah.
You can still download digital games.
You can have digital and physical. So it's like if you can't be bothered to, or if there are certain games that are only released digitally, you're not cutting yourself out.
No.
From that. So
it just makes sense.
Yes.
But still, no price or release date.
No, but estimates hovering around $499.
It's going to be around about that, I think that's probably fair to say.
Yep.
But so that was PlayStation 5.
Let's get on to the Xbox.
And then we move on to Xbox, which happened a couple of days ago.
Yes, so it's still pretty fresh in my mind, this one.
Yes. So they started the show with what everyone knew was it was basically the only talking point for the entire show was Halo Infinite.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they started with that. I thought they'd leave it to the end.
Yeah, but I think it's because they get it out the way with. Anyone that doesn't care about anything else can just go about their day.
I suppose, yeah.
And if you were only tuning in for Halo, then you got it straight away.
Yeah, however, people are a little bit miffed / disappointed with what they saw.
Definitely split the internet 50-50 again.
I mean, I'm going to start by saying what I mentioned earlier, which is about how games for the PlayStation 5, specifically Ratchet and Clank, have been designed for the hardware specifically.
Yeah.
Whereas Halo Infinite has had to be designed with the old hardware in mind. With that in mind, I think what 343 Industries has done is pretty damn impressive, but also really disappointing at the same time for many reasons. But I think the biggest upset came when we learned that the demo was actually running on a PC and not on the Series X hardware, which is kind of like, what? How can you showcase your next generation if you're not actually doing it on the hardware? Which kind of miffed people. Especially when they saw things like grass popping in and textures loading. It's like, I thought this SSD was supposed to get rid of all that. And, it's... Yeah, and then the other comments were about how the art style has changed.
Yeah.
Or it feels like it's changed a bit. Things look a bit more... I saw a comment saying plasticky.
Plasticky, yeah. Yeah,
and I think that makes sense because doing anything in realism requires a lot of power. And to really... 343 were in a kind of a difficult position where they've got to make their game look next-gen, but they can't make it look too next-gen to the point where it can't run on the old hardware.
Yeah.
So they've already added a layer of, depth onto the game by making it open world, which requires more power anyway. And then they've got to go one step further and make it run in 4K, 60 frames per second. So pulling that art back a bit, making it a bit more stylized, gives them a bit more breathing room, and then lets it run more stable on the older hardware as well. Yeah. So they're not... It feels like they've been walking on a tightrope of trying to make it look new, but
still work.
Yeah, still work. So
see, I heard another version of why it looks plasticky, and that is because obviously when the first Halo launched back in 2001, whenever it was on the original Xbox, it was very limited back there, so everything was designed to be big and blocky, men in suits, so they'd have to render faces for the characters, and the aliens are big bold colours and so what they've said is that 343 have tried to be too close to the original and give fans the service they want and try and keep it as grounded to the original as possible. And because of that, and then obviously bringing it up to this new resolution, it just doesn't look right for the old blockiness and big colours that it was on the original. Yeah,
I mean, the original, if you see, even before it released properly on the Xbox, the original vision for Halo was supposed to be this open world kind of war game and stuff, and then obviously it got channeled into what it was, what it eventually became. But their dream was to always make this kind of open world thing. So they've got back to that, but they've also taken it away from where it was going with Halo 5, art direction wise, and pulled it back to all these bright, wonderful colours and everything like that. Which I think it looks nice. It's going back to its original roots, but then people want progression, I think. And I think that's what a lot of people like. I wanted progression. I want this to look, amazing. I want it to blow everything else out of the water. And then to not get that expectation met after all this time waiting, I think that's why people are like, a little bit annoyed. Yeah. It still looks good.
It's still going to be good, and it's still going to play good. I mean, Halos always do. Yeah. And then so they've added some new stuff as well. So Master Chief now has a grapple.
Yep. It's the year of the grapple.
It is the year of the grapple. You can't be a first-person shooter if you can't grapple stuff.
Yeah, you got to be able to use that grapple.
Yeah. So basically,
good way of closing the distance.
It looks like Doom, basically. Yeah. It's going to be open world. Yep. So you can choose to do missions in whatever order that you want. Mm-hmm. And
kind of like ODST was, sort of. They had that slight variation on doing missions in a different order, but I suppose it's probably going to be a bit grander than that and a bit more open. Yeah, you'd hope. So Master Chief is going to get unlock new abilities as you go along. So they said that you're not going to have an XP meter
but you are going to unlock various abilities as you just progress through the game naturally. And then the other thing which worries me, because I've heard this phrase before, is they're not going to do a sequel. There's no Halo 7, there's no Halo Infinite 2. It is Halo Infinite, and it's the start of their 10-year plan with it.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. The title works for that.
It does.
They don't have to add numbers and EX plus alpha on the end of it to make it... You're getting Halo. You're playing Halo. If it's Halo Infinite, that's what you're getting. You're playing Halo. No matter when you jump in, you're getting the whole thing. However, like you said, Destiny didn't work out so well. But this is Microsoft.
Yes.
It's their flagship game. It's the game that they are directly, beholden to. And I think that with that in mind, it's not just some third-party game that said we've got a 10-year plan. This is Microsoft.
Yeah, you got to hope that they know what they're doing.
And I think they will treat that franchise and that 10-year plan with the utmost care. And it'll grow, and it'll grow with the hardware. Eventually, when they take the gloves off and go, right, let's unlock all this power that we've been advertising, you know that it's going to get patches and upgrades, and it's going to evolve. And I think people getting in on the ground floor, you're just going to be with that journey. And I think it's going to be the Halo game that they originally set out to make.
Yeah.
But now they have the power and the time frame and the technology to grow it.
Yeah.
I think it looks promising. I mean, initially I was disappointed, saying this game looks like it was made on the 360. But it's the start of a journey. It's the start of a next generation. We know console games at launch always, look less than what they are at the end of the cycle, because they've all grasped the technology.
Yeah, you've only got to look at The Last of Us Part 2. That game is incredible on the PS4.
The PS4, yeah, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I mean, I know that's divided opinions in completely different ways on the internet,
but we can all agree graphically
it looks amazing. Good. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that was Halo. That was the biggest thing from the show.
Yeah, and probably the biggest thing we have the most opinion on. So
and the rest of the list is going to go pretty quick. Yeah. So spoke a little bit more about Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
I love the first one. Can't wait to play more.
Yeah, the
little bit of confusing things, information about that though.
Yes. So originally, Microsoft, Phil Spencer and Xbox and everything like that was saying that you wouldn't have to buy into the Xbox Series X straight away because all of the games will work on your current console, so they're not leaving anyone behind.
Yeah.
However, what was made clear in their briefing the other day, so their presentation, was that some games are only on Xbox One X and PC. Xbox Series X. See, this is where it's going to start getting confusing. On the Xbox Series X and PC. So, Senua's Saga is being built from the ground up with Unreal Engine 5. So that's never going to run on the Xbox One. So that is Xbox Series X and PC only.
Yeah.
And another game, The Medium.
Because it has that mechanic where you switch between two different worlds, the real world and the
whatever they're going to call
world, or whatever it is.
But it renders both in real time all of the time.
So that won't work on your original hardware either.
No.
So that's interesting. And does that beg the question? Because Phil Spencer also said it would be 2 years after release before we'll see anything like that. Now, they've either reneged on that and said, well, there's an exception, or they kind of said that we're not going to see Senua's Saga or The Medium for 2 years. I can't remember seeing a release date. I think, or a year.
Some of them just said 2021, and some of them didn't say much of anything really. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like it could be Christmas 2021, and then it gets delayed.
So by extension of a technicality, he's not lying. But
also trying not to disappoint people at the same time. So that's speculation. I don't know if that's true or not. But
no, they might have gone back on their. Maybe they didn't realise that some people were starting to develop in Unreal Engine 5 or whatever. I don't know.
It's interesting though. It's interesting.
But it just sounds like, if you want to play the core of the games, you're okay with Xbox One. But if you want to play some of these other little niche games, you're going to need a Series X.
Yes.
So moving on, we had Balan Wonderland. It's basically a platform adventure with I mean, it looks fun.
Yeah,
but
it's fun.
Yeah, that's all I've got to say on it. I mean, it's not really my cup of tea, if I'm honest.
Moving on.
Yeah. Forza obviously made an appearance. They didn't really have anything to show.
You all know what Forza is now. The cars are just going to look shinier and better.
Yeah, like Gran Turismo, there's always a Forza with the new Xbox. State of Decay. State of Decay 3 was a surprise one.
It had the best looking trailer.
Yes, it did. But we all know what State of Decay games look like.
Yes, and if they achieve even remotely what that trailer looks like, I will genuinely eat a big slice of humble pie and say, well done, lads. But judging by the other two games and how they turned out, I don't have my hopes set too high that they're going to achieve that.
No.
Especially when, like, State of Decay 2 still has cars getting stuck on small things and big glitches and things like that. I don't know. But
new console, new whatever, maybe.
New year, new me.
Yeah, I mean, again, they've announced it, but that was it. It was just State of Decay 3.
Yeah.
That is it. We don't even know when or where.
No.
Everwild as well, a game from Rare.
A game from Rare called Everwild, and I am still none the wiser as to what the hell the game's about or what you'll be doing in it. Only that it seems like you can explore this world with your friends, accompanied by cute and adorable animals that you befriend that have different abilities. I saw one like removing a tree and stuff like that. And it's like, I wonder, like, is this going to be another find your own fun game, or are they actually going to put a bit more story and character into it? I don't know, because it seems like Rare's kind of gone away from the banjos and you know, the actual fun Rare games,
like Sea of Thieves, where it's basically, we've made this, you make up your own game in it.
Yeah, it's like, the only thing we're going to do for you is give you some fetch quests. You need to find your fun elsewhere in there.
Yeah, I know we slate it, but I mean, there's hours of us playing it on the channel, so
it's fun to play with friends. It's just, you know, I see it as just hanging out these days. It's just like, let's hang out on a boat and shoot some people with cannons.
And eat some bananas, you know.
Yeah, eat some bananas.
As you do.
Yeah.
Tell Me Why as well. The I would say the like Life is Strange sort of game, the brother and sister one.
Yes.
Episodic. We got a little trailer of that.
I hate episodic games as it is. So when I saw the whole chapter 1, I mean, I was kind of like put off straight away because it just looked it didn't look like my thing anyway.
Yeah.
But then when I saw chapter 1, I was immediately like, ugh.
Yeah.
Chapter 1.
Yeah. So that's now August 27th, so that's probably the closest one.
Yeah, well, at least for chapter 1.
Yeah. The rest of it pending.
Yeah.
Grounded, so that new one from Obsidian, the survival game when it's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids survival game.
It looked interesting, but again, I don't know, like this is going back to what I was saying about cartoon games and how Ratchet and Clank has nailed it with the next gen look for a cartoon game, but Grounded kind of didn't look very next gen, did it? It looked like it could run very comfortably on what you've got now.
Well, I think the game actually comes out July 28th, so it's out. It's out this month.
Fair enough.
On like game preview.
Gotcha.
So
okay,
that one's like imminent. So that one is coming out soon. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I'm all up for survival games. I mean,
I'll give it a shot.
Thousands of hours.
I love Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So fighting a ladybird seems pretty interesting.
Giant spiders look terrifying. So
if they weren't scary enough already, make them 8 feet tall.
Yeah,
there you go.
Give that a go. Then staying with Obsidian, they showed some DLC for the Outer Wilds.
Yes,
which does look pretty cool. But I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't played the Outer Wilds yet.
Me neither.
I might get around to it at some point. I've had it installed since it released.
Just not
because it was on Game Pass, but no, I've just not got round to it.
No, that one eluded me.
Yeah.
As well.
And then they had Avowed, which is their new RPG, which they're working on, which a lot of people were hoping for. But we said the same thing. It's just Skyrim. I mean, a first-person fantasy game with this power in his hand. It looked like a dragon shout.
It's like sword in one hand, magic in the other. It's kind of either going to go towards a Bioshock style or a Skyrim style. Mm-hmm. And how deep the RPG elements go, and character development wise, we have no idea. All we got at the end was a still frame, essentially, of what the first person camera is going to look like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got a sword and magic.
Yeah.
That's it. The rest of it was just kind of CG trailers. like, wasn't it?
It was just an arrow going through this different
sky,
world and then falling down to this cavern. Yeah, so I mean, I'd say that one's a long way off.
But interesting though. I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's Obsidian. They're pretty good at making RPGs. I'll give that a go.
Yep.
We had Watchdogs Legion again. They keep trying to talk about that, but I really don't care about it. I'm not interested in it.
I was interested in it, but then I saw it being played, and then I wasn't interested in it anymore. And that's the reason is the characters in Watch Dogs 2 weren't that interesting, like, to begin with. They just weren't. And now with Watch Dogs Legion, there is no characters. You can play as anyone in the city, and it feels like it's even more disconnected from any kind of coherent storyline. So I found it really difficult to get connected with Watch Dogs 2. So now they've removed this kind of main character thing in favor of many different characters. I mean, I liked that concept originally, but now I'm just kind of like, just feels like I'm going to be even more disconnected from the game, ironically. I've also seen the hacking puzzles get kind of tedious and irritating. I watched Yong Ye's footage, his playthrough, and I'm very much in agreement of the points he made in that from his time with the game, which I think was about 4 hours. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to it.
No, I'm just not interested in the slightest. I just look at it and just think this game looks like a chore.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just not for me. If you like it, I apologise, but I just can't get behind it. We had Psychonauts 2. We had a bit more showing on that with
Jack Black doing some music for it. Which, I mean, I loved Psychonauts 1. I think it's one of the best games that came out on the original Xbox, and I've played it to death. I absolutely love the visuals in it. I think it's so unique.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea and concept for a game.
Tim Schafer, he's just a great game designer and director. Like, he's just got this kind of style and atmosphere around his games that I just love. So, but I think you very much have to be a Tim Schafer game fan in order to really appreciate Psychonauts.
Yeah.
So Psychonauts 2 is definitely something I'm really looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to that one. Destiny 2.
I can't believe that Microsoft showed Destiny 2 DLC in their next generation of games launch event.
Yeah.
I just aren't we all done with Destiny 2 now?
Just let it die now. Just move on.
Now, there are people that play and love Destiny 2, and I recently started playing it on the PC again. And it looks great, but I'm finding it very difficult to get into. It just feels like, again, it feels like a chore.
Yeah, it just feels like
a beautiful chore.
I'm doing all this, and then when you stop and think, why?
Yeah, what am I doing?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't have any reason to jump back in all the time. You know, you're not following any kind of story, or the story's in there somewhere, but it's so buried under snippets of audio and text that you just lose it all the time. And yeah, it just feels very disconnected. Chewing gum for the hands.
Yeah.
Shoot some aliens.
Yeah, that's the only thing it's got going for it, is that the gunplay and the gun mechanic in it is good.
The gameplay is solid.
Yeah, just put it in something with a story.
Yeah, and I'd care more about it.
Yeah. Stalker 2 as well.
Never played Stalker.
I never played Stalker. Didn't know it was a thing, but the second one looks interesting. I like the trailer. It looks quite haunting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first one is a horror game.
Yeah.
Set in Chernobyl, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what from the trailer. That's what it looked like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I might have to try and find the first one, give it a go.
Yeah.
We're looking forward for the second one. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide.
CGI trailer, but looked interesting.
Looks like a Warhammer 40,000 Left 4 Dead, maybe.
Perhaps.
Four characters.
Yeah, could be in the
swarm of enemies.
Could be like a futuristic version of their, Vermintide kind of series. Maybe, I don't know. We need more info on that one.
Yeah, that one. Tetris Effect Connected.
It's Tetris.
The Gunk.
Oh yeah, what was that now? The Gunk.
That was the third-person platforming action game where the woman with the big claw was vacuuming it. I mean,
kind of looks like Luigi's Mansion, but in space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, suck up stuff.
Yeah, and gunk enemies following you with. I mean, it looks like it could be a bit of fun. Yeah. But again, not a lot of information on that. We just had the trailer. So we touched on it earlier, but the Medium. So that's probably the game I'm looking forward to the most on Xbox Series X.
I'd agree. Yeah, for sure.
It just looks like Silent Hill.
Yeah, I mean, it's got
it's going to sound like Silent Hill as well because it's the same composer.
Akira Yamamoto, is it?
Something like that.
The name eludes me, but I think it's Akira.
I think it's Akira.
I'm gonna stop because I'm probably butchering myself here.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm looking forward to that one, and the fact that it's going to render both worlds, that's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and how it handles swapping between that.
Yeah, like seamlessly as well. It looked like. So that could be pretty cool. Crossfire X, so that free-to-play game, we got some story trailer on that, which just to me just looked like Call of Duty.
Yeah,
you could have just told me that was Call of Duty, and I would have gone, all right.
Which isn't a bad thing necessarily. No. I think it could be, could be fun.
Yeah.
The free-to-play element worries me a little bit. Like, is it actually going to have a story to it, or is it literally just a trailer that then leads you into a multiplayer battle royale thing?
Well, who knows?
I mean, Overwatch had a story trailer.
Yes.
And it's not a story game at all, so there's that to think about.
Yeah,
but it looked interesting.
Yeah. As Dusk Falls.
Photoshop, the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with that at all.
It's a visual novel, isn't it, basically?
It just looks... I mean, fair play if if all you want is story, then that game's probably going to have an abundance of that and not much else, because it doesn't look like it has any gameplay.
No.
Unless they didn't show any of the gameplay and just showed cutscenes.
I think it is just a visual novel.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. And I mean...
I know visual novels are popular.
Yeah.
But to me, visual novels are good for amateur and indie developers to make because they don't require much work. I mean, obviously this one's got a lot of work put into it because the artwork is intense in it. But in general, they don't take much to make. So I'm just not that interested in them.
No, I like to play the game.
And aside from that, if the story doesn't interest me, I think if the story interested me more, I'd be more intrigued to play it.
Yeah.
But the setting and the character, I'm not that interested in it.
No.
I wasn't invested by the trailer anyway. So.
No. And then so they closed the show with showing a little teaser for Fable.
Yes.
Which, I mean, okay, it was rumoured and people were speculating about it. I mean, nothing else, just a trailer.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're probably not going to hear anything else about Fable for at least a year and a half now.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah, it'll be like Metroid Prime 4 all over again.
Yeah, we're just not going to hear about it. We've seen a CG trailer. The trailer was great. It looked... I mean, it was just a teaser, but the teaser, it was funny. It had that Fable feel to it.
Yeah, British humour.
Yeah, so it definitely set up the atmosphere that we're likely going to expect, and then showed the title. Whether or not, is this a retelling of the original Fable? Because there's no, numbers or
just
subtitles.
Said Fable, didn't it?
So what could that mean?
Yeah, does that mean it's going to go MMO? Is this going to be...
Oh, just... in general,
yeah, here's the world. Do what you want, innit?
I mean, that to me sounds like the next logical step for a Fable game to make. However, it's not one that I would enjoy.
No, I like the old ones with the
story.
Stories. Yeah,
the stories,
1 and 2
the
in particular.
characters.
3 kind of messed up a little bit.
Yeah, it fell off a bit.
Yeah,
and they focused a lot more on the buying houses mechanic. Which,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think 1 and 2 were the highlights for me.
Yes, 1 more so for me. I prefer the first one.
Yeah. I like the dog in the second one. So.
Oh, yeah, okay. If you're going to pick a mechanic, then yeah, the dog was cool.
The dog.
Yeah.
And then, so there was a quick pre-show where they showed 5 or 6 different games. I mean, the biggest ones there were Dragon Quest finally coming to Xbox, so it's never happened before. So if you were a fan of Dragon Quest and have an Xbox, now you can play it on there. And Hello Neighbor 2.
I hated the first Hello Neighbor.
Never played it.
I thought it was awful, and I really can't see what people see in it. I just don't get it at all.
I think it's just we
got really far in it as well, but I was just like,
I think it was just made popular by certain YouTubers, and
I guess
people can get behind that sort of game when they're watching someone else play it.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to, especially with a game like that where it's quick gameplay, quick turnaround. It's kind of like, you're watching someone try to get far in it and they're failing, and it's like, oh, maybe I can do better. So it's almost like everyone's kind of challenging each other to see how far they can get in the game. And yeah, I get the appeal in that respect, but it's definitely not for me.
No,
not for me. But more of what people love is got to be good. So.
Yeah, and then the last thing to speak about from the Xbox announcement was that every single game they showed will be on Game Pass. Yeah,
I mean, naturally, we expected that, and I think that's brilliant.
I think that's a great deal.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's amazing because Xbox has given me this choice of I don't need to buy the Series X at all, because there's nothing on it at launch that will really require it. Unless Senua's Sacrifice comes out then I will need one. But I don't think it's going to be coming out at launch.
No.
So essentially, I can just buy a PlayStation 5 and that's all I need.
Yep.
You know, instead of having to drop a colossal amount of money on both consoles at launch, which would probably be bad competition for both companies, I guess. They've both got very different approaches to this next generation. And
yes.
Perhaps the reason why they're so different is because they know that not everyone's got this kind of money lying around that they could just buy both at launch. So they're trying these different strategies and ultimately it's staggering them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's not a direct competition between which console has the best games and which console should I buy at launch. It's more like you don't need one of them. You can get this one at launch and get the next gen games, and you can carry on using your Xbox One X to still have a great experience with all the new games that are coming out on your Game Pass, which is for free. So essentially you don't have to.
No, and then when you do next year, say you do buy the Series X, any game that you've bought or downloaded on the Xbox One, you get the free upgrade.
Yeah, so you're really not losing anything by not buying one right away.
No. You can choose to buy it next year whenever you want, and you'll just get the upgrade for free.
Yeah, and that is where Xbox and Microsoft's prosumer kind of platform is really appealing. I mean, to be fair, Game Pass is amazing. You're getting the xCloud for free, which, I mean, I personally don't have a reason to use that, but being able to play any game you want, stream to your PC or your phone or your tablet or whatever you've got, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to have that service for free, it's kind of a real big slap in the face of Stadia as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I bet Google is still reeling from that one.
Yeah, I think when xCloud launches in September, I think that's when we might finally see the dying moments of Stadia.
Yeah, I mean, Stadia has been a good system for some people. I mean, it's found an audience somewhere, and there are a lot of people that speak very positively about it, but I just can't find anything good to say about it, if I'm honest. I know there are good things for certain people, and they have their reasons, but I just don't have any reason to think it's a good system, especially the pricing.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst part of it, is the pricing. But anyway, is that everything?
I think that is everything.
That's everything, and our opinions on most of the things. That was quite a long chat, wasn't it? I'm really sorry about that. But I hope you found this really interesting, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments, so leave them down below. We'd like to talk to you in the comment section and hear what you have to say about what you feel about these two giants and their different approaches to the next generation.
Yeah, and what you're hoping Nintendo might announce, because they've been quiet.
They've been very quiet. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But it's been a long video, so we're going to shoot off. But don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Click like, because that always helps us. And hit the bell as well, because then you'll know when we upload something again. But thank you so much for joining us on this very long edition of Midnight Musings. As always, I've been Bren.
I've been Jay.
And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.